A little over a year ago, the city-owned radio station, WRR-AM, began its policy of nonstop, round-the-clock news and information broadcasts. Since that time, more and more people in Dallas have discovered that every time they get in the car, in a matter of just a few minutes, they can be brought up to date on what's happening in the world and in the city around them.
Good morning. At 11:30 from WRR, this is Joe Graham. Currently, skies are clear over the Metroplex, the temperature 74 degrees.
Most of that nonstop news comes from NBC Radio's News and Information Service. It's a network operation that offers international and national news and features to almost 80 radio stations across the country. The local news, sports, markets, and weather make up about 25% of the day's broadcast, and that's supplied by Jim Lawrence and his staff of 9 full and part-time people. Since WRR began the nonstop news, the station's ratings have climbed steadily. When the service began in June of last year, WRR ranked 28th in the Dallas-Fort Worth market, 28th out of some 32 stations. As of May of this year, the last rating period, the station ranked somewhere between 10th and 15th, depending on whose figures you use. It was about 2 years ago that things began to look bleak for the oldest radio station in Texas. The format had been changed to local telephone talk shows with people like John Henry Falk pulling no punches. The ratings had dropped, people were calling council members complaining about what they were hearing, and worst of all, revenues were off and the station was losing money. By late 1975, rumbles were heard at City Hall that the station should be sold, and in April of this year, the council voted to get rid of the AM station and keep the more economical and less controversial FM operation. The notices went out and the bids came in, both of them, and when they were opened last month, there was only one that complied with the city's requirements. That one, from the Houston Chronicle people for $1 million, was less than half what had been expected. Assistant City Manager Jim Faber explains why the bidding didn't work out and what happens next.
There was a good bit of bitter interest expressed in that some more than 40 firms requested the bid package, although only one bona fide bid was received. We contacted some of the firms that had taken out a bid package and had not actually submitted a bid to see what their concern was. And of course, as you may suspect, it kind of ran the gamut of things between being concerned about because the FM was not included in the package. Some were concerned about the signal not covering well into the Fort Worth area, and some were simply concerned about the overall competitiveness of the market. The staff reviewed it with the Municipal Radio Board, and their recommendation was that we not accept the bid at this time. And we also reviewed it with a staff committee that's familiar with real estate and property values and so forth. And their recommendation was also that we not accept this bid as being unrepresentative of being a good market at this time. So the recommendation of the council was that we not accept the bid that we had and that we try again in another 4 to 6 months.
Whether the station will, in fact, be sold remains to be seen. While no staff member or council person will go on record as opposing the sale, several have said privately that they may want to reconsider. The final decision will rest on how well the station does in the ratings and financially over the next 4 to 6 months, how much of that $100,000 deficit can be cut down, and of course, it will depend on how much the city is offered in round 2.